here,
Way too far up.
right here, this is our region. And the drawing's kind of bad. I think this is a -2. This is a +2. Okay? So this is the part that's being revolved around. Do you see that the hole will be right here? Does everybody agree with that? So when I flip that around, I'm going to have a hole that's going to go from here to here. Does everybody see the hole? All right. So I'm going to integrate. Here's pi. And I'm going to go from -2 to 2. Notice I have delta x right here, correct? So I'm going to have dx. Now, if I had no hole, this thing would be totally solid, right? This would be my big radius. Would you agree with that? Of my big, solid thing with no hole, right? How far is it from here to here?
1.
It's 1?
Where did you say?
From the axis of revolution to this function. How far is it? Well, how far is it from here to here? Well, look at it. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units long, right? From here to here. Is it 3 units long the whole time? How do I figure out what this distance is? This big radius. Okay, let's see if you're right. 3 plus a -2. Excuse me. 1 plus a -2. That gives me a -1. Is that distance a -1? No, it's 3. Rostein, what do you think? No clue. Rogers, any clue? H of x plus 1. Okay, this is h of x. So a -2, right? Because h of x here is a -2 plus 1. Do I get 3? See the what? H of s minus 1. So a -2 minus 1 is 3. You're in the ballpark, though. You could do absolute value. Okay. And I'm not anti-absolute value, but I am anti-work. And I think when I introduce absolute value, it gives me work. Yes?
Is it 1 minus h of x?
How about 1 minus h of x? In other words, 1 minus a -2. Does that work? 1 minus a -4. Does that give me a distance of 5? 1 minus a -3. Does that give me a distance of 4? In other words, if I do top minus bottom, will I always get a positive number? So it should be, I'll give myself more room here, 1 minus h of x. And what am I going to do with that 1 minus h of x? Square dx minus my whole, right? is my hole the same all the way along? Or does my hole change? So look, here's a hole, here's a hole, here's the hole, here's the hole. How big's my hole? Do you know its radius, Alex?
One.
What?
One.
It's 1. So here's my solid. I'm reducing, taking away my hole. So in other words, this is going to be pi.
What's the shaded area?
The shaded area, that's the area underneath that curve.
Okay.
Right? It always generates from the x-axis down to the curve.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You with me on that?
Yeah. I got it now.
Okay. I think I can change that. I think I'm confusing it. What's h of x negative h squared what?
Couple of announcements before lunch. Reminder, students, if you do not know which lunch steps you eat, please ask your teacher at this time. Boys, swimmers, and divers, you will have an end-of-season meeting today after school. Please meet in the
How
pool
come I can't
office.
get rid of that thing?
And a reminder to all girls trying out the Stern dance team, tryouts begin today at 4 o'clock in the high school auxiliary gym. Thank you.
See it right here now, Roman?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to revolve that. You see the hole?
Yeah.
You see it when I reflect the area?
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to put in all the discs. Look at the disc. You see the shape I'm getting? Right? You got to realize this baby wraps around here and there's a hole in the middle. Right? I've seen spacers like that when I've done work building things. That are, you know, if I turn it like this and there's a hole drilled down the middle and I might have to put a bolt there. Or a pulley. Does everybody see a pulley there that it could be a belt around? Do you see that, Veroga? Okay. So, do you see that my radius is constant going all the way through there? So here's 2, here's a negative 2. So this is going to be 1, and I got to distribute that minus sign. So I'm going to have plus x squared plus 2. That thing squared minus 1, because 1 squared is 1, dx. Oops.